I want to thank you so much for tuning in to my new series called Road to the Top. I have had such an awesome time putting together all these different interviews from people that are from all walks of life, not just martial arts. I've enjoyed their stories. I've enjoyed their trials and tribulations they had to go through to reach the end of their journey. And I'm sure when you listen to their stories, you're going to feel the very same way I did. However, today I'm starting off with a gentleman that I've known for a really long time. He is someone that has been around for many years. I mean, he's a man of age. And what I admire so much about him is that age has never really bothered him. And this is something that I'm hoping that all people of age can realize and understand that age is just a number. But this gentleman has so many interesting stories and talents and has done so much that I just couldn't help but interview him, hear his stories, and share them all with you. And the gentleman I'm talking about is Grandmaster Ron Lew. Where are you, Ron? That is so cool. I love it. We don't have our little, it isn't all in order yet. So Ron was holding up Road to the Top. That's awesome.
That was an
Thank you.
that was an exercise for me. It's holding
Oh,
on.
you were nervous. You were shaking a little bit. Anyhow, Ron, first of all, I want to just take this moment to thank you very much for allowing somebody that's new to the game. I'm a white belt in this social media interviewing people and giving me the chance to do something wonderful with your story. And it is true. Ron has been around for many years, but Ron to me has always been like a bottle of fine wine. He only grew better with age. And that is something I really have always admired about him, that he just went along like he was still in his 50s. And that was absolutely motivational about him for people. Ron, tell me something. What has motivated you in your life to keep you going forward?
I think my parents motivated me because they wanted me to be in the engineering, especially my dad wanted to be engineering. So really uh, kind of gravitate that I'm going to go be educated. But I think I got inspired of moving into martial arts because of my cousin. And my cousin, at the age of 16, he came over to the house. He lived in San Francisco. And he came over and says, I'm learning Kung Fu. I said, what's that? Is that a Chinese food? What is that?
That's what we've all thought.
He said, no, that's our heritage of learning martial arts. It's Kung Fu. So well, let me see. Yeah. So he was learning in San Francisco from T.Y. Wong. And he showed me some moves. He said, wow, I like that. I got to find somebody, in locally. So that's how my journey began to be inspired to learn martial arts, and that's how I got involved. And
But
not,
that wasn't the road that your journey was heading towards. What direction were you heading towards before you were introduced to martial arts?
yeah, I was heading towards more the kung fu side and learning martial arts that way, but I kind of gravitated learning forms, learning for exercise, and I want to learn something for self-defense. So kung fu was ideal for me.
Well, did you continue on and go to college and get your degree? Did you ever become an engineer?
Yes, yes. I went to San Jose State, and I graduated in high school as 1962, and then I went directly to San Jose State. So I graduated as a industrial engineering, a BS degree, and through my dad's influence, said, well, why don't you go for another degree? Since you're there. So I got another BS degree in business. Management type of thing. So I have two BS degree in industrial engineering and a BS degree in business. So I got two BS. So I got a lot of BS.
Oh my goodness. But you never really spent many years using all these great degrees. you got from going to college. You went into martial arts.
Yes, and my wife says, "What's all the degrees you have, and you're doing martial arts? You know, if I had your degrees, I would be a lawyer or
Well,
something."
exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm
A
just
wife would think that way, especially when it was in the martial art world. And your father and mother must have been a little bit disappointed that you didn't follow through.
yeah, yeah. They said, "Well, at least you're making some money." So that was it. But no, my passion was martial art.
Well, but you knew in your heart what you wanted to do. And when you choose a chosen path, you have to feel the passion within here, or the path will fail and you'll walk right into a dead end wall. But you knew what you wanted to do. You took the step forward. You went into martial arts. How many years did you put into martial arts before I think if I remember correctly, you used to have a martial arts school here in San Jose, and I actually believe I was in your school once many years ago.
Yes, I started in really kung fu when I aged 19 with Sifu Pao Ing, and then I opened up my school in 1974 on 8th and Heading Street. And we met uh, my very first time is when you and Sifu Al was coming through and going to Colorado. I think yeah, Al had a contract to go to Colorado, and
Was that the first time we met?
that's you and I met. I met Al in the early 60s. So what year did you go to Colorado? What year was that? Was that in the 70s? That was early 70s.
Somewhere around there. I
Yeah.
don't know. Numbers
So
and
anyway,
dates don't stick
Al
in my
called me up.
head.
Yeah, Al called me up and say, "Hey, Ron," because since we knew each other since '63, he said, "I'm on our way to Colorado, and I want to learn Hung Gar style. I want to learn Fu Hawk." And I said, "Okay, yeah. Well, when you're coming down, I'm driving now." And I said, "Okay, how long you going to be in San Jose? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?" I said, "No, 2 hours. You could be in San Jose for 2 hours and you want to learn Full Hawk? That's 150 moves. All right."
He had confidence.
So anyway, he came by and I was introduced to you, and I said, "Okay, you sure you want to learn 150 moves?" He said, "Yeah." So Malaya, this is my wife. She knows how to take good notes, and I've got good memory. And so here I teach Al all the Kung Fu 150 moves, all that. And after 2 hours, he said, "Okay, I got it. We got to go. Goodbye." And that was it. So that's how I met you the very first time, taking good notes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Had I been you and someone came in and told me they wanted to learn Fu Hawk and they had their secretary writing it down, I would have asked them to leave. You
Evidently,
were kind.
you take good notes.
Ah, you
Yeah.
know, Ron, we've had so much time since March when we suddenly found ourselves in lockdown. I
Yeah.
remember the date, precise date my life changed. March 13th, my life changed. Up until this day, I have lived a total different life.
Yeah.
This is a total different Malia. During this time of lockdown, I've learned patience. My cooking's improved. Uh, I've baked a lot of good things. However, I can say that I never really stopped teaching. That part of my life didn't change because I had so many private students I trained at outdoors. And so one-on-one outdoors was healthy. So, and suddenly we couldn't go to dim sum anymore. I was
Yeah.
having withdrawals for
I
dim
missed
sum.
that. Yeah.
So tell me, what have you been doing with all of your free time since March?
Well, we met. You said to me, you said, "Ron, I want you to come over and take some pictures with your cell phone of me leaping in the air with my kung fu kicks, all that stuff." But there are three hills. It's three hills. Yes, there's a beginning one, a medium one, and an advanced one. And I
Oh,
said,
my famous heels.
and I said, "No, no, 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 I don't do hills." And then you said to me, he said, "You out of condition?" I said, "No, I'm in condition." He said, "Well, come over to my garage. I want to test you here." So went over to your garage,
I remember this.
and then you said to me, get on this Noller track, the one working elliptical.
Elliptical.
I hate elliptical. I go to the 24 hour. I hate that. No, get on there for 15 minutes. I was on there for 3 minutes and I was breathing heavy, sweating. I said, I can't do this.
And I thought you were joking because I've never met anybody that couldn't stay on the elliptical for 3 minutes. All right, continue.
And then you had me go on the what do you call the walking one, right? Yeah, and the treadmill. And he said, okay, do that for 15 minutes. So I was on there. I only lasted 2 minutes, and I was out of breath. And I said, Malaya, I got to stop. I got to stop.
So anybody could walk for 15 minutes.
Then you told me, said, okay, lay on the floor. I said, oh, okay, I could the rest. He said, okay, do sit-ups. I said, you kidding me? Yeah. So anyway, I got dizzy, seeing stars, and I said, I got to stop. And that's when you said, you're out of condition, And after 15 minutes, I was able to breathe again, no stars, and I was ready to go home. I said, yeah, I guess I'm out of condition. He said, okay, I'll train, you train me, I'll come back to your garage and I'll come back. This was Saturday. And you said, oh, I said to you, it said, I'll come back next Saturday. And he said, no, that you got to come 3 times a week. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be in this condition. Actually, you saved my life. I lost 18 pounds. I started with you back in March. Way back, past a year now. And so I'm in condition. I really feel healthy. Now I could jog around with my dog around the block. I could do that.
I know.
But since the shutdown, I've been really, kind of working out. I work out five days a week.
And I'm really glad that you really brought that up because I really wasn't going to talk about my training or my fitness, but for all of you that are viewing this and you kind of contemplate, oh, I think I should start working out. My message to you is start working out, because at the beginning of this with Ron, I thought he was joking with me because he's a practical joker around me. But then I began to realize his coloring, his heartbeat, his breathing, that was no joke. And I began to think, oh my God, I'm going to have to save my friend here. And so I was so happy that he really said yes. But what I was most pleased with, that he was determined not to be in this condition. And so I took him out to the park. We started walking, power walking. To make a long story short, he lost, I don't know, how much weight did you lose?
18 pounds.
Yeah. Can you imagine 18 pounds? Now with Ron, his 18 pounds was kind of in his tummy area. Yeah. Because most people, when you see Ron Lew, he looks so lean, but with his clothing that he would wear, the tummy was really never noticeable. Although, however, I noticed it, and I used to tell him, "What's that you're carrying around there?"
You would punch him.
I punch him. But he did in March, and gradually, it wasn't a rapid procedure. It was growing, where he began to see a new Ron, and it was really awesome because he began to see himself in a different light. He began to realize, oh my God, there's so much more to life that I've missed out on because I had terrible condition. And Ron, if I in any way contributed to improvement of your health and giving you an extension of life or whatever I was able to do, it's all because you did it. You showed up 3 days a week. You listened to me. I yelled and I tell you, do it. And if you said you couldn't, I didn't understand. No, I said, do it. But it was really cool because after our workouts, we used to have our favorite little coffee shop. And we would go to this coffee shop and I love chocolate. I would order a chocolate muffin and a big hot cup of coffee. And Ron, what would you get? Did you drink tea?
I got green tea and then apple, what do we call
Oh
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
something with apple. And that was kind of like our reward. For me, that's normal. But for Ron, he thought, man, you're gonna let me eat this stuff? And I said, well, of course, you have to learn to eat in moderation. So I would have to say one of the best things Ron did during his during what we're going through is learning to exercise. And he doesn't come and see me now. I send him exercises through Zoom, and I change the routine, and you get bored doing the same old thing. So that's cool. He's continuing on. But Ronnie, isn't it so that during your lockdown here, you finished your books and
oh, yes.
you did your all the things you were wanting to do, you finally finished them. Didn't you do a DVD on the bullwhip and
Yeah.
Eskrima, and you actually finished a book, a real book?
Well, the way they came out, I have an ebook. It's called Life and Chi, and it's on ebook form. But anyway, the way it came about is that when I was in Germany, and that was last year, late last year, 2 years ago. So I went on a trip to Germany, and then some friends said, "Let's go to Norway." So we went to Norway. So one student, and one Hapkundo, he says, "If you leave this planet, who's going to know about you?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Who's going to know your story?"
Yeah.
I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, you all on this trip, you've been telling us little stories." He said, "I love that." I said, "You need to write this down." And I said, "Yeah, I could." I said, "Well, why don't you write it down and send to me in Germany?" And so it was 2 years in the making, 2 years in the making.
But you
And
wrote your
so
book here and sent drafts over to Germany, and they put the book together.
they put it
The
together.
Germans are so cool. They're so helpful.
They're great. They're great. So he was diligent translating, my English and
That's a lot of
everything.
work
Oh yeah, a lot of
for
work. And
them and for you.
yeah, and the nice thing is that it turned out to be about over 200 pages with lots of pictures, and it was interesting. It was interesting how I began, how I started, and how I got my first black eye, and how I started my school, how to
Oh,
meet.
awesome. You tell all these stories in the book?
Yep, it's all in the
Oh,
book.
good.
And
'Cause we can't cover everything.
no, yeah, but it turned out to be, and the great thing is that now that it's been published in English, uh, Michael Parchman is the student. He said, "Well, I'm going to translate it in German." He said, "Oh man!" So I'm going to have an ebook in English and German. So
That's really cool. I too have a fond love for Germany and the German people because, I lived there for so long and built my own group of people that follow, and I still teach. And I'm always so happy when I hear that I mentioned the name Ron Lew, that everybody in Germany smiles, and nothing ever negative, just positive. All your teaching, all the material that you bring, all the knowledge they've learned. And for you to do seminars in, whether it's Germany or any part of Europe, is so much different than doing seminars in our own country, because different culture, different approach, different way. You've had so many beautiful seminars that you've done out in the forest. I mean, how awesome is that? And in these big, wide, open spaces of wheat and grass and blue skies,
yeah,
and
love
just
German.
50, 60 people out there enjoying all that you have to teach. I've never seen you do seminars in Germany, but I sure have had the opportunity, and I can always have to tell the story because for me, it was one I always remember, our trip to Portugal. There was a group of us that went to Portugal a few years back, and again, we fell in love with Portugal, and we hope that when all of this is lifted, we can return to Portugal because, again, a group of warm, loving, giving people in Portugal. We all went there for a big deal, a Hall of Fame event, and each of us that went were asked to do little seminars. So we did. Now, off to the side on this particular day, I was sitting in a chair somewhere watching all the happenings, and suddenly I saw from afar a line of people, lots of people marching, kids, adults, and I thought, good Lord, what's going on? Are we supposed to exit the building and no one told us? And so I said to Maria, I got to go over here and see what's happening. I want to see where all those people are going to. So I got up, walked, and I was in shock because they at the head of the line was the Pied Piper, Grandmaster Ron Lew, and behind him were all these people following him to go to his designated section to do his seminar. And so I'd never seen anything like that. And I wondered, well, what is he going to teach with this seminar? And this is when I discovered that you not only work the sticks, empty hand kung fu, but the bullwhip. And I thought the whip, I never identify the whip with kung fu. And so I didn't know you were even, you practice this weapon. How did you get started with the whip?
Well, and what you're talking about is this. This is
yes, the bullwhip.
Yeah, this is the bullwhip.
It's a beautiful, dangerous weapon. I know, you tried to teach me.
Well, it's actually Filipino back in Kakoy Cañete, his mentor, but also his older brother, did whips. And he actually developed a rope whip. And so the Filipinos have whips. And so this is really a part of Filipino tradition is whips. So what happened, this one is a nylon one. The way I got involved with that, I was doing seminars at my school, but also had Kakoy Cañete drop by and hosted him at the seminar. And one time, this other student who actually part of a Kakoy Dos Zapatos organization, and he saw a whip on my wall. It was a different one. It was a cowhide and 8 foot with a swivel handle. And I hated it. I said, I did not work with that. And so I just said, okay, I'll hang it on the wall. So I did. So he came to the seminar and he looked at it and said, oh, you do whips? I said, yeah. I said, I do whips too. He said, I've been doing that for 30 years. He said, really?
Oh,
said,
wow.
I hate that. I hate that. He said, let me give you a shorter one. And it was something like this, but he kind of cut and paste and made it a little smaller from 8 foot to a 5 footer. And so he said, I'll loan this to you. I'll do 3 moves and you just practice move. And in a month, I'll come up here again and I'll see you and see how you do it. And so he gave it to me 3 months. I practiced, worked with it. And then I said, I like this, and then since I'm into Kung Fu, okay, and I did chain whip, I start using the left hand as well with the right hand, see? And he came back. I said, okay, let me see what you got. And so I worked with it. And he looked at me, he says, I gave you 3 moves. In all the 30 years I've been doing this, I have never seen anything what you're doing. There's no whip practitioner do what you're doing with your left hand. Yeah. And so he liked me doing it. And so he said, well, since you're into Tibetan energy, Tibetan Tai Chi and meditation type of stuff, I'm going to name it for you as Tibetan Wave. So that's how I got the name of Tibetan Wave. It was really—
Is the whip anything like the steel whip, the Chinese?
Kind of, what it is that you could delay the movement. And what I do is like, I consider this whip, is like working with yin and yang, so you have the soft movement, flow movement, expression with it. And so I kind of bring in the energy work, with the whip. So it's so different. So all the practitioners, what they do, they crack, make it louder, softer, or accuracy. I'm not interested. I'm interested in the flow. I want the energy flow is what I consider is that the whip is, I start the sentence and the whip finish the sentence for me. Yeah. So it's that feeling. Yeah. So energy work.
Well, I want to thank you because I thought that was so sweet of you to present my son Mark's daughter, Noe, with her own personal whip. I hope she doesn't use it on her parents. No. Anyhow, I'm
I think his
waiting.
brother's going to be using it more than
I'm
her.
sure Mark has got the whip. He's probably out there whipping it around. But when time changes and we're kind of back to normal, I'm hoping that you can work personally with Noe and give her some little
Yeah,
basic techniques how to use it. Because as you know, she's in new doing movies now, and what
yeah,
an
that'd
awesome
be.
weapon to use in the movie world. So I'm hoping that one day you will be able to work with Noe. So I just want to thank you so much for giving her the whip. That
No,
was cool.
my pleasure. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
thank you. I know you've been eskrima sticks for a long time. Who was your teacher?
Yeah, I learned from Senior Grandmaster Kukoi Kenyete. And I actually got into Eskrima sticks. This is what it looks like. Eskrima, it's 28 inches.
That's a
And
pretty stick.
oh, isn't that nice? This is actually made in Spain
That's
and
really beautiful.
given to me. I got it in Germany.
Oh, everything good comes from Germany.
But I met him by accident through a employee, that we went to FMC. I used to work at FMC making military tanks, and so he said at a seminar we were attending, for FMC. He said he does martial arts. I said, yeah, I do martial arts too. In fact, I have a school. He said, well, I have a master who's in town. I'd like you to meet. He does the eskrima. So what's that? He said, well, that's working with Filipino sticks. Is it? I have no knowledge about that. He said, let's have lunch. I'll invite you and to meet him. So we had lunch. Nice man. Kukoi Kenyet is a nice man. He had lots of jokes too. He knows a lot of jokes. So he liked me. I liked him. He said, why don't you join me? And this is early 90s, not about 1991. And so I joined his class and I fell in love with the Eskrima. And because the way he teaches is like our empty hands, except he has called Olissi, and he has the Olissi in his hand, and he used his left hand as well as his right hand. So he said, wow, that's like Kung Fu, except we have an object. Yeah. So what I gravitated to is learning how to work with the stick, but then I found that if you work with the stick, that's an object in the hand. So you have to learn how to coordinate your movement much harder because now you got an object in your hand, what I have
Right.
in your own hand and in your head. So I found by learning the eskrima is that it helps develop your empty hands. You're much faster. You're much more coordinated because now you don't have an object in your hand. And then what we did, we created a group called the Core of Six, and this was Grandmaster Tesutello. He's the one who got us involved to create this group. And Teddy, call him Teddy. He said he likes that what Kukoi does because it's like Teddy's hands. Teddy has wonderful hands.
Yeah.
Bless him. That he has hands like no one else does. So he gravitated to Kukoi style. I said, we got to learn this. So that's how we got a group together and working with this group.
I think long ago I'm a white belt at working with a stick, but I did learn some basics, and if I have to use it, I can use it, but I'm not in any means do I know anything about it, but I do know how to block, hit, strike if necessary. I just love the weapons, all the weapons in Chinese Kung Fu, and then I saw you working with the whip and then the sticks, and I didn't realize that your true love was always empty hand forms. I've never seen you do form. You have to do one for me.
Yeah, sometime. I do Tai Chi too. I have two styles of Tai Chi, the Wu style and the Yang style. So I learned two different styles of Tai Chi. So I love the soft style. I love the Hongao style. And so I kind of move over to now, I'm into sticks and whips now.
Yeah.
So that's my thing now. But the influence of martial arts, of Kung Fu, gravitated into the art, and especially Kukoi Kenyete Dosipata style,
Right.
which I love, and then part of the whip. And by the way, like I said, Kukoi, saw me doing the whip, and he loved the way I did the whip. And he said, maybe I should learn the whip. So, oh, really? I could get Kukoi. And then he thought for a while, he came silent and he says, no, I remember my brother, Momoy, yeah, used me as a target with the whip at the end of the whip. It was very painful. So no, I don't think I want to learn the whip. Yeah, so he never learned the whip.
Oh, martial arts and all the amazing people we've met along the way are memories that never, never, never can we ever forget. Even when those that we loved so much are gone, for me, it's as if sometimes they're still with me because their memories are, whoa, so strong, embedded inside of me. But there's something I have to ask you to do. This is another thing I learned about Ron Lew when we were in Portugal. We had a marvelous time sightseeing, traveling. We had private tours. I mean, oh, it was amazing. But during one of our outings, again, I looked over at Ron, and there he is leaning up against a statue. And he's hunched over, and I'm thinking something's wrong with him. I said to Maria, oh my goodness, I think we're walking Ron to death here. We better go see what's wrong with him. So as I approached this statue and Ron, who was hunched over, I heard music and I thought, what the heck? What's going on? Music and people. There was Ron playing the harmonica. I had no clue he had this talent. And when I talk about playing the harmonica, I'm really talking about a black belt material in harmonica because he really, really, really could play. And it was entertaining. I've never heard a harmonica that was entertaining. It was like jazz, and he was just, I mean, he could do a concert and people would enjoy it. And so, Ron, where's your harmonica?
You asking
Please,
me
you have to play it.
what you play. He goes, just so happen I have.
You better have it, or I'll be over at your house. Ah,
It so happened that I had this available.
now play enough that we can hear your talent.
Okay, just
And
for
don't disappoint me.
you. I won't take it personally. Here you go.
Okay.
Just for you. Just for you. There you go.
I
Just,
love
just
it. That's amazing. You know, this is what's so nice about doing interviews about people. You know, everybody knows Grandmaster Ron Lew, and he's, you know, all that you do. But you're more than the Kung Fu man. You're Ron Lew, the man. And there's a whole side of you that I know because we're friends and we, you know, go to functions and parties. And this is so funny. I'm off the track again here, but I'm always having to go places. And oh, I'm the worst. I don't like to be driving and looking for where I'm going. So it became a habit. I'd call Ron and I'd say, Ron, I have to be in San Francisco or wherever. I don't want to have to drive and look for the place and where you drive me. So suddenly it's become a laughing joke with us. He says, okay, driving Miss Daisy again, I see. And so that is kind of cool because if I don't care if it was Christmas shopping and I had to go to a dozen stores, he would drive me, park, let me do it, drive me. But it was awesome. When you talk about a friend, Ron is just really a friend that is just warming to my heart. And so I just want to thank you for all the things you do.
when I drive you, I put on my driver hat and now.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, he wears his driving Miss Daisy's hat. It's so cool. However, there's sometimes I think, oh my God, I think I better be driving. We get lost a lot. No. Okay, Rob, there's something else I want to talk to you about. I know that you have this amazing, beautiful car in your garage. I mean, uh, my viewing audience, believe me, this is a car that's older, but it looks like it just was out of the showroom floor. Beautiful, amazing. And I want to know, I want an explanation why I've never had a ride in it. Why, when you drive Miss Daisy, you bring the SUV, and why is it just parked in the garage?
Well, I bought the car. Yeah, I'm a Z fan. Okay, Nissan Z. I first bought it in 1974 is my Z, but I yeah. Let me get this here. So I bought this one, and I love the color. And it was 2003, March 8th, 4:30 p.m. when I purchased it. And the reason I like it is because it was purple. And here, maybe I could show you here. There it is. And it's
Oh, that
purple.
doesn't do it justice.
Oh yeah, I call it Purple Rain. Okay, that's the name of the car.
Oh,
And so I bought a 2003, and I only, even to this date, I only have washed it 3 times, detailed it twice, changed oil every year, and it has less than 10,000 miles on it. And where do I drive it? I drive it in and out of the driveway. And if I do drive it a little long, it never parks. I just drive it, come back, open the garage, and park the garage, cover it up again. Love the car. So it's less than 10,000 miles. And I still, really love that. It still smells new.
how many
So
miles on it?
less than 10,000 miles,
And it's
9,000,
what year again?
2003.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, yeah, I have seen it, and I must say it's a beauty. Not one mark on it, not one. It probably has the original tires.
Original ones, and
Everything is original on it.
no one has sat in the passenger.
Oh,
It's only me on the driver's side. That's it. Yeah.
that. Okay, Ron, I want you to tell me one thing about yourself that I don't know, or that general public doesn't know. One thing about yourself that would surprise us.
Maybe some little personal note type of thing is that why did I pick up the harmonica? Why did I do that?
Yeah, why that's a weird instrument to pick up.
Yeah, and I wasn't really interested in a instrument, but I found this instrument that you learn how to breathe. And when my wife passed away, which is about almost 10 years ago, lung cancer, and after that, so I have to learn how to breathe. And so I thought of this, the harmonica, because it makes a sound whether you inhale or exhale. And I thought, I learned to refocus and to learn how to breathe again. So that's how I got this involved with this.
Oh, wow.
And I picked this harp, which is a flat, which I like. I picked this up and I got it invited to play on stage when I was in Hawaii at the Kaji Kempo Back to the Roots. And one of the members of Kaji Kempo, he's a trombone player, for 30 years, an instructor, and also played professionally. And when he goes to Hawaii, he's with this local group, and Mickey G in Honolulu, Hawaii, the name of the place. And he said, he heard me play. And so he said, why don't you come at the club tonight? And
wow.
I'm going to call you up on stage. He said, really? He says, yeah, I've never been on stage, and I just played it for fun. So we sat there, eat some food, and he played, and he called me up. Well, Ron Lew will come on stage and bring up your harmonica. And I said, okay. So that's when I got hooked. I said, wow, I really like this, and plus learning how to breathe and focus again. And after that, I decided that, I really like this. I should take this up. So I'm one of those type of people. If I like something, I'm going to go out and do something, and I stick with it.
Yes.
So I've been taking lessons for over 8 years from David Barrett, locally in San Jose area, and he's very famous, very well known, and a very top notch instructor. So
Wow.
to this day, I'm still taking lessons in harmonica.
Yes, I know, because sometimes you'll say, I know you can't do this because you're taking your lesson, and you really still take. So that's amazing about you. That's why your ability gets, I mean, really, he really, really does play beautiful harmonica, and it's not piercing, it's soft. It's comforting to my ears and my soul. So that's a cool story. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I'm sorry for the passing of your wife, but she brought you comfort in a different way by you picking up the harmonica to learn how to breathe again.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure, I never met your wife, but I have seen pictures of her, and she was an absolutely beautiful woman, of which you were married to for how many years?
Oh, we were married for 34 years. We dated for 10 years.
Can you
And she's,
imagine?
she's Japanese. And the reason why, she never really said, really interested in me because I was Chinese and she's Japanese. And I said, I don't like Chinese. What? I just don't like them. So we dated for 10 years. 10
Oh
years.
my, to get approval.
Yeah, then finally one day he said, I'm going to propose to her. I think it's about that time because she would still go out with other people. Okay. And I stopped dating other gals after the 7th year, right? And then for 10 years we dated. So I said, no, this is the one for me. So for 3 years, I just, focused on her, and she would still go out with other people and, all that. And so finally, I said, no, it's time to propose her. So I proposed to her at Quake Tower. We went up, had a nice dinner at Caesars, and then went to Quake Tower at night, about 11 o'clock. And I had my little flashlight. I had a little
Oh,
handkerchief and had the ring in my hand in a little box. I put the handkerchief on the grass. It was 11 o'clock at night. Turn on the little flashlight, shine on the ring, proposed to her. And she said yes.
oh,
So anyway, after 3 years of marriage,
how nice.
and then after 3 years of marriage, I asked her, I said, well, why did you finally end up marrying me? Because I'm Chinese and you're Japanese. You don't like Chinese. I said, well, you were so goddamn persistent. I said, finally said, and so that's how we got married.
Oh, how sweet. I love happy stories. It's a sad ending that she's gone, but a beautiful relationship that you had for 34 years. So anyhow, Ron, we're now into 2021, and all of us are hoping that maybe as the months go along, life will lighten up a little bit for us. I know that myself, you, we all had seminars that were pre-planned for us to travel abroad. But of course, we didn't get to go. So in the year 2021, if everything lightens up and we're able to travel a little bit, do you have your seminars already lined up? Where are you
No,
going?
yeah, the way the situation is still unknown, but last year I had scheduled Mexico, uh, Philippines, Las Vegas, Germany, also Australia. So I usually go to those countries, every year. So this year, still a little shaky. It depends on the vaccine and so forth. But
Yeah.
I sure miss doing seminars with the folks
Oh,
out there.
yes. It's
And
like
you see so many people that really
it's a
enjoyable.
breath of fresh air just to get
Oh,
on the airplane and go to the other side of the world, different food, different people, different accommodations, different lifestyle. We gain an education each time we go. I know
yeah.
last year I was to go to Germany, everything lined up. I would return, but of course I didn't go. Maybe this year, like you say, everything is up in the air. Who knows? But whatever the good Lord has planned for us, I have faith in everything that I do. Faith that we're all going to get through this. Faith that all of our prayers that we put out there for healing of the people in the world, that the good Lord is listening to it. Faith that everything in life will go according to the good Lord's plan. And that's how I live, according to God's plan. So if it's meant that I go to Germany this year, I will go. But if not, I'm happy with where I am. I'm not, the only thing I miss about my lifestyle as it used to be was the traveling. But basically, I'm happy. I have my food, I have the comfort of my home, I work out. Uh, this time gave me this opportunity to put this, to challenge myself to do something I know nothing about. I've never been social media. I can barely work a computer. Anybody who knows me, especially my students, but I put it out and I challenged myself to do something that I was uncomfortable with. And this was it, to do this. And I'm learning. And so I have learned so much. I'm grateful and hope that all of these interviews that I've done with so many people from different walks of life, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy, that you will watch them. It's cool that you've shared your stories, your hindsights, you've shared part of your life that people don't know. I know uh, we're like total opposites. You're cool. You Tai Chi, I'm fighting. You're quiet, I'm loud. You're mellow, I'm aggressive. I, I have to say this. I remember one time a Sifu told me that I should learn Tai Chi, that it would help me uh, would mellow me out. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. So I said, I don't think so. I've tried Tai Chi before, and Tai Chi would make me nervous because I had to go so slow and I wanted to get to the end result. No, no, no. Well, the Sifu and myself both came to the conclusion, Malia, I don't think you're ready for Tai Chi yet, because I became hyper trying to learn Tai Chi. Maybe now that I'm older, I would be a better student, but I don't think so. I'm still hyper. I'm still aggressive. I'm still running the stairs, the trails. No, that's still me. But Ron, again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your day and allowing me to interview you and to share and to. I'm sure that as I enjoyed this interview, our viewing audience are going to get a kick out of you. Thank you, Ron. I love you. Thank
I
you,
love you
thank you,
too.
thank you. And yeah, I hope we can have dim sum soon.
Oh yeah, we got to do that. But
Okay.
if we had dim sum, we'd be hungry an hour later anyway.
Oh, I
So
know. Dim sum goes in and out, but I'm hungry 24 hours a day. So, but anyhow, I love you. Thank you. To my viewing audience, I hope that you'll tune in again. I have a lot of interviews I know that you're going to enjoy, not just Grandmaster Ron Lew, but people from all different walks of life, which they had fascinating story on how they made it to their road to the top. And I must say, I even did an interview on myself to talk about my road to the top. That was pretty interesting. Okay, you guys, I love you. God bless you and have a great day. Thank you.